part of the government's £700 million package to ensure children catch up with their learning, secondary schools in England will be asked to consider delivering face-to-face teaching during the summer break.
But what do children think about spending some of their holidays in the classroom? Joining
us now, Debbie Lee, who says summer school will benefit kids, along with Afia Adom, who believes it's a terrible idea, and head teacher Matthew Burton, who says one size does not fit all. So, Debbie Lee, let's start with you. You have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. So you've been homeschooling, and that, I can imagine, as for all of us, has been quite a challenge. Don't they deserve a break in the summer?
I mean, I need a break.
Right, OK.
It's been a challenging time, definitely. And as soon as I heard the news, I was 100% behind it. I even asked my husband, and he was like, yes, definitely. We would definitely send them to summer school. I mean, we've had such a crazy year. We're living in unprecedented times at the moment. And, you know, the pandemic has affected my children massively. They haven't had a normal life the last year, and they've become quite withdrawn. I've really seen that it's affected their confidence socially, mentally, and for them not to be at school, not to be with their friends. So going back to school in the summer, I just think would be a massive benefit to them.
Afia, let's come to you, because you're pretty adamant that this is a terrible idea for your 9-year-old. We've had lots of feedback from kids and from parents saying this would be fabulous. Get back to school, be around their friends in a summer environment, no school uniform, a laid-back environment of learning. How can that be a bad thing?
Well, as you saw Naima in the VT there, she said herself she does not want to go back to school in the holidays. Look, I think we are putting our children under quite a lot of pressure to catch up. And we keep using these words, catch up, that they're behind, that they've missed learning. We're in the middle of a global pandemic, and frankly, they are right where they should be. I think it's more important for our children to recover mentally after this time. Their mental health and their well-being is equally as important. I think putting them into face-to-face teaching and into classes during the summertime just puts more pressure on them. And I would encourage a summer of play, a summer of being outside with their friends. I would encourage the government perhaps to pour some money into families, maybe give families a bit of money so they can get away, so they can have a break, so they can have fun days out, so some bills can be paid, so parents and caregivers can take some time off with children, so they can re-engage with culture. There's plenty of ways to learn outside of the classroom, and that can be seeing family members again that they haven't seen for the year. Maybe that's grandparents or older relatives. Re-engage with culture, get back out there, museums and things like that. I really think children need a break, parents need a break, and let's remember, teachers and educators really need a break as well.
Yeah.
They've all been working non-stop.
Yeah, let's talk to one of those teachers, head teacher Matthew Burton from Thornhill Community Academy in Dewsbury, a star of Educating Yorkshire. Very good morning to you. Where do you stand on this? Because it's you guys who have to deliver the summer schools. Is it a concrete plan at this stage? Is it going to just be targeted at certain children? Will that possibly lead to a sort of sense of discrimination against some kids, that they're seen as being the ones who have been held back?
I think what's really important with summer schools is to consider that they will be one of many interventions. So yeah, the pot of money that's available from the government was announced yesterday, but there'll be one of many interventions that schools will be using to help students after this, as has been said so many times, this unprecedented 11, 12 months that we're all living through. I think what's also really, really powerful, in addition to everything that will happen, summer schools being one of those, and it's something that we will consider. But it's also worth considering that summer schools do happen every single year, probably not last year, but certainly colleagues I've spoken to have run summer schools in their schools for years and years and years. This is not a new idea. And Education Endowment Foundation research shows that they can have, when they're run well, they're intensive, they've got a strong academic focus, and it's small group tuition, it's run by teachers with those sort of activities interspersed. They can have a quite striking impact, up to 4 months of progress on young people positively. So I think it's important that they are targeted.
I can see why it would be a benefit, but we spoke to another head teacher, Ben Davis, a little bit earlier on, who says there is a danger in our discussion of how children are doing and their academic progress. There is a danger of sending kids the wrong message, that through no fault of their own, they are now way behind. And in our efforts to help them catch up, we're actually saying to them, look, there's a problem with you.
I think what's really important is that we look at March the 8th as that's the date that we're all looking forward to in education, and I'm sure that the parents across the country are looking forward to that, to seeing their children get back to school as well. So, you know, from March the 8th onwards, the huge benefits of those normal routines of school, of that ability to socialise with peers that's not over Teams or Zoom or Skype or wherever the remote learning's been delivered, the opportunities and the normalisation that can come from attending school every day will do so much good for the routines and that feeling of normality for children. So, and it is really important as well that we don't use negative language around children needing to plug the gaps really quickly or to catch up with people, because we have to remember, don't we, that the pause button has been pressed for absolutely everybody across the country, and whilst remote learning has been something that's been very powerful in certain areas, you know, the uptake of that, of course, naturally has been variable because of the nature of devices and.
Did you manage to get? We were about to speak to the schools minister. Did you manage to get laptops out to all those who didn't have them?
So we got a significant number of laptops and devices, and we thought creatively around the situation as well. And we bought some laptops in ourselves as a school. We also encouraged students to use their games consoles to access it. We were working on Microsoft Teams, so that was a way that we did it as well. And we got to a small number of students without devices.
So is this, I mean, you mentioned that summer schools have been going on. Is it something, that, Matthew, that you will embrace and you will use to try and target some of the issues that have arisen by all the lockdowns? Or is it something that you feel as a school you're going to try and avoid? Because, do you know what? It's been a tough enough year for everybody. The last thing these students need, and as Afi is saying, there's other ways of learning. It doesn't have to be in the classroom.
Absolutely, there are. Absolutely. We'll look at everything, and we'll look at every opportunity that's there, and we'll see what's best for our students. And what we'll start to do on March the 8th and going forward from March the 8th is to identify how students are getting on, look at the situation that they're finding themselves in, and how they're doing academically and how they're doing socially, and then plan interventions that are going to help them and support them. But
Debbie. Sorry, we've got the Minister standing by in just a moment, so we just want to get the view of Debbie and Afia before we let you all go. Debbie, you say you need a break over the summer, but will your children be happy to skip along to summer school, do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just going to be, you know, people need to see this as a positive move. You know, like, I think if they market it in a better way, where it's like more of a summer camp, where they don't need to wear their school uniform and they can have play outside rather than inside, and just have picnics outside and more kind of outdoor activities, then that would be more of a positive thing for both the parents, the teachers and the children. I think it's a brilliant move.
And Afia, what would you think if it was made compulsory?
I don't think that's a good idea at all. I think if it was compulsory, I certainly wouldn't be up for sending my daughter. And then what happens then? Does that lead to fines? Would I have to pay them so my daughter doesn't have to go to summer school? I don't think it should be compulsory. But then you have the problem that if it isn't compulsory, who goes and who doesn't?
Yes.
And the children that do go, are they made to feel that they are somehow, quote unquote, less smart than their friends, that they are catching up? Or then some pupils might be left out who actually do want to go. So how do you decide who goes?
If it's delivered in a way, as Debbie was suggesting, if it's done in the marketing and they don't call it summer school, but they call it play schemes that we had when we were younger, or summer camp, and it's marketed in a way so there's less stigma attached to it, maybe that might be a good answer?
Perhaps, but then I would be more up for sending my child to like a sports holiday club or something like that, but not something that's in a school setting. You know, I think it's really important that children just get time out of any sort of education, time out of facing screens, time out of thinking about the work that they've lost, and time out from being told that they are catching up. Everybody really needs a break and needs to recover from the trauma of the past year.